You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
This Independence Day weekend, kick your party off with a bang. DeWeather Center presents the first annual DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic presented by the National Racing Network. The Palmerton Boobies, DeWeather Center Bluecocks, Blue Mountain I-95ers, Pocono Front Platers, Schuylkill County Crackers, Reading Nurses, Catasauqua Blue Tits, and Beltsville Lake Monsters will take the field in Emerald. Find out more on Facebook at DeWeather Center. DeWeather Center, offensively accurate. If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again, and welcome to the oh my goodness, we're going to start the race off this way. Okayama International Circuit here in Okayama, Japan. My name's Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It's a pleasure to have you joining us this evening. Joined tonight by Sebastian Kinder, and as always, James Watson. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here this evening. Producers, Gresham, Mahala, Magdalena, Zach, camera design by Connor Baldwin. And James, we're coming off a pretty good race here in the Ezra IndyCar Series from Road America that was dominantly won, to a series that saw Greg Seitz absolutely check out and leave 1 week ago.
You and I may have differing opinions on a race, but yeah, sure, let's go with that. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to pull away nearly as much as I saw Greg pull away last week. There's a lot more corners on this one and a lot closer racing, so it's going to be a lot more difficult to pull away because you got to put together a lot of good stretches.
Yeah, and Sebastian, the Indy Pro 2000 series doesn't make many visits to Japan, and this is if one of the first, if not the first times that the series has been here to Okayama. It really makes for a unique challenge and can really push the drivers.
Well, it's not been a long time since I've been into iRacing, so I can't deny you. I can't say anything to that. But I'm a big fan of Japanese track. They're all pretty good, so it's a pretty big pleasure to be coming to Okayama. Not very experienced on that track, but did run a few laps before the broadcast began, and I'm going to say it, Chris. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, let's tell you a little bit about the circuit here. Located, excuse me, in Mimasaka, Okayama, Japan, 3.703 kilometers, 11 turns. First opened in 1990. This is round number 2 of the championship. They will go 21 laps for the race distance. Cautions are local only. Track record 1 minute 14.023 seconds. Held by Michael Schumacher. Don't think they're going to come anywhere close to touching that this evening. The cars are manufactured by Tatus, powered by Mazda 2-liter engines, making 275 horsepower. As always, the PM18s are a ton of fun to watch here, and especially around a facility that really a lot of these drivers may not know quite yet. Interesting developments here early on in qualifications. Most of the field has turned at least one lap. Only one driver has put a lap on the scoreboard. John Dinkle, 134.1. New quick time, Mike Holler jumps to the top of the speed charts, 125.86. Tristan Walker, 127.38. Hog Jerome going to move to the quick time at the top, 125.57 seconds. John Dinkle going to move up to the 3rd position. Let's pick up Nagisa Yashikawa as he makes his way around the racetrack. Simon Fell moves up to the 4th position, 127.01. Yoshikawa just finishing up his first lap. Still haven't seen Cameron Wellborn or Greg Seitz get into the car. Seitz just getting into the car now on pit lane. Lap number 1 for Yoshikawa. Going to move up to 4th quick, 126.59 seconds. Mike Holler working a pretty quick lap here as well. He's already completed his 2 qualification laps. Let's pick up Greg Seitz. The guy's going to be the story of the evening here. Also, Jason Miller, Scott Bradshaw working their qualification laps. Cameron Wellborn, again, has not made an appearance on the racetrack, and with only a little bit of time left in qualifications here, not a whole lot of time left for him to get a lap in either.
Speaking of Jason, sorry to cut you, Chris. I actually love that paint scheme for Jason Miller. That's a very, very good paint scheme. Like, I don't know who ran this in IndyCar, but that must be a good driver.
Yes, the yellow submarine making an appearance here and picking up Greg Seitz as he's working his way around here as the clock ticks just over 5 minutes. Mike Holler jumped up to 2nd on the speed charts, 125.39. The conclusion of his 2nd lap. Coming across the line, Greg Seitz does not score on lap number 1. Looking to see if he has an off-track, any kind of an incident will negate your lap time. One week ago, Seitz absolutely checked out on the field right from the drop of the green flag.
Well, James, I don't know about you, but it's really, really easy to just have a lap invalidated at a road course. Just the slightest square millimeter of tire hitting that gravel, and it's an X, and you're done. Like, the qualifying lap is done. You have to think about the next one coming.
Oh, I looked at the grass. 1x lap invalidated. Oh, come on. Yeah, pretty much. It's an app. What's worse is when you get the tiniest little scrape of the wall and it registers as 0x contact. It's like, really? I get that certain tracks you can rim ride to a fast lap, but at a road course where rim riding, if you're rim riding, you're having bad time. So I've always felt that shouldn't count, but that's ramblings of an irritated man, so don't pay much attention to me.
New quick time to the top of the charts. Greg Seitz, 1 minute 24.4. Almost, well, yeah, a full 2/3 of a second faster than Hog Jerome in the second position. Mike Holler, Nagisa Yashikawa, and John Dinkle, your top 5. We're down to about 45 seconds left in the qualification session. Looks like Cameron Wellborn will not turn a lap here in the qualifications. We'll keep following Seitz around here. Quite frankly, if he's going to keep turning the laps, we'll keep following him here.
Oh.
One of the things,
Chris,
James...
I know why earlier it wasn't registered. Because it was his warm-up lap.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll take a look here and see. Seitz is... He's gone purple in Sector 2 and Sector 3. And there you go. Qualifications have finished. So, yeah, only 2 laps allocated to the drivers here in qualifications, and Seitz made the most of lap number 2 for sure.
I mean, to my iRacing, it was showing that he was in lap 2. So I think, yeah, that was his second lap. So imagine if he finished that lap, how far ahead? I just checked in the chat. He says he's doing a pit start.
That'll be interesting. Greg Seitz and Hog Jerome scheduled to start on the front row here. Mike Holler, Nagisa Yashikawa going to make up row number 2 for this one. John Dinkle, Jason Miller on row 3. Tristan Walker, Simon Fell in row 4. Daniel Plamondon and John Kern on row 5. Scott Bradshaw and Francesco Zargani in row number 6. Jason Padu and Cameron Wellborn will round out the 14-car field. 2 splits, 29 cars entered for tonight's race. Greg Seitz, Hog Jerome, potentially both electing to start from the pit lane here. That's going to be kind of interesting to see.
Do you smell it? The overtaking fest we're going to see?
Yeah, well, there we go. We have Hog.
I guess great.
I say, James, I almost wonder, is this kind of an avoid the inevitable turn 1 issues that you think you might see?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but this isn't that bad of a turn 1. I don't think Greg will really be worried about that. Greg's probably just bored. He's like, I'm gonna see if I can get back up to the front from starting in the pit.
Yeah, well, I say, and here's the other thing is that,
honest,
I mean, you mentioned it in our text chat here. There's a whole lot of people a lot of names that we're not real familiar with on the broadcast races. That may play into things if you don't necessarily know your competition all that well.
Yeah, that's definitely a good, but even still, yeah, on the second row you have Mike Holler and John Dinkle, guys who are still used to running a weekly basis, but regardless, we're going to be in for a treat watching him try to claw his way back up.
Fields off of the final corner. Green flags in the air, and as always, fans, the start of this one is yours.
guys. I think that was a big mistake from Greg to start for the pit because look at this, no crash.
Working lap number 1 of 21. Hog Jerome going to be your race leader. Over Mike Holler, John Dinkle, Nagisa Ashikawa, Tristan Walker. Greg Seitz 9.7 seconds back and falling after electing to start from the pit area. Through the final couple of corners, Hog Jerome going to lead lap number 1. Opening up a pretty solid gap here over Mike Holler. One of the tighter battles on the racetrack going to be this one, 0.3 of a second between John Dinkle and Nagisa Ashikawa.
And Greg Seitz is already on the move. He already overtook someone. It's going to overtake Cameron. Well, that's already done.
Yeah, we'll pick him back up here towards the back of the field. Greg Seitz going to try to pick his way through this field in the span of 21 laps. And quite frankly, the one that really is kind of surprising to me is by qualifying on the pole, if he doesn't win the race, he's going to take an iRating hit. Whereas if he hadn't qualified and started at the back, maybe a little bit less of a hit that you might have taken.
No, that has nothing to do with it. It does. The only thing that is factored in an iRating gain and loss is where you finish. Where you start has completely nothing to do with it. So he was facing the same risk whether he elected to qualify or not.
Take a look here at Simon Fell and John Kern. This is the battle for the 8th position. Fell in that gorgeous multicolored, mostly green and blue machine. John Kern running just behind him, car number 2, looks like one of the Rust Racing entries. Hog Jerome set the fastest lap of the race, and then very rapidly it was eclipsed by Greg Seitz, 1 minute 25.08 seconds. Almost a full second faster than what Jerome is running at the front of the field.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'd say Jerome is the living embodiment of the Jordan Peele sweating gif, just watching Greg slowly eat up.
Yeah, that's it. Cue up the Jaws theme because he's coming in a hurry. Yeah, we might get demonetized.
Well, blame France. Blame France.
Of course. Forgetting blame Canada, we're just going to blame France from now on. So let's run you through the field here as things have settled down just a little bit. Hog Jerome will be your race leader. That purple and green number 7 machine started on the outside of the front row, but basically became your pole sitter when Greg Seitz elected to start from the pit lane. Running in the second position, 1.6 seconds back, going to be Mike Holler in the number 3. Holler up 1 spot from the drop of the green flag. John Dinkle is up 2 spots in the number 6. And again, as always, the car numbers are dictated by the iRating of the drivers. How about this fight back in the pack here? Greg Seitz already looking inside of John Kern down the second long straightaway. Look at that pass completed in a big-time hurry, and he's going to be catching up on Simon Fell here before too long as well. Working through turn 8 called Redmond right now. Then they're going to quick snap back. Oh, contact! Simon Fell making contact with Jason Miller. Miller gets into one of the outside retaining walls. Made life easy on Simon Fell there.
Oh, looking.
Let's
that back,
get you the
I think
hot
Simon
shoe race
lost
where
the
instant
back end,
replay.
and, as we can see.
Two cars kind of going to the same piece of real
That's
estate.
a very weird one.
Continuing to track Greg Seitz in his march forward through the field up to the 7th position, still about 10 seconds back of race leader Hog Jerome. At this point, James, I would imagine you're more in a who's next kind of thought process. You're not really worried about how far away the leader might be. It's more of get the next one, get the next one, get the next one.
Yeah, it's pointless to, when you're in this position right now, it's really pointless to start thinking about how far out of the lead you are. You still have so many cars to get through. Whoa, big bizzle there.
Oh, it's feisty.
Woo. Yeah, you have to be way more focused on getting through all that nonsense before you start figuring on how much more gap you need to make on the leader.
I mean, James, he's already almost in the top 5. That's insane. We're just done 6 laps and he's already in the top 5. And there's still 16, 15 laps of those remaining, so...
You mustn't be new around here. This isn't new Greg Seitz.
Yeah, Greg Seitz is pretty much an animal. Didn't get to run the full season in 2021 Season 2. Pretty sure he was the 2021 Season 1 overall champion, however. Next up on the hit list is going to be number 9 of Tristan Walker. But I'll tell you what here, guys, as we get ready to watch Seitz keep his charge going through the field here, how about we give him another shot to crank it up? Trouble on the racetrack for Tristan Walker. Right as Greg Seitz came around, take a look and see what happened here to Walker. Oh, just a little bit too much throttle on corner exit, loops it around. Gonna lose a couple of spots, but should be no damage to the race car. Greg Seitz set the fastest lap of the race, 1 lap to go. See what he's gonna do here. 124.31 was the last lap time. 124.75, so he lost about 0.6 of a second, but he's still running tenths, if not seconds, faster than everybody else in front of him. Nagisa Yashikawa running in the 4th position is going to be next up. And it's really going to be Yashikawa and Dinkel back-to-back for Seitz as we work lap number 8.
Chris, when we were doing the crank it up, I just watched the gap between Greg and Hag the lap before the one we took your broadcast. Oh, well, I'm just failing my voice tonight. He, in the clean air, took a second up on Hag. So once he get through these cars, like, this will be interesting to see how much it will take.
That's exactly it. I mean, this is really the only thing that can hold Seitz up is having to fight 2 cars at one time. You can't necessarily set up the one corner because you got to worry about kind of getting into the car ahead of Yashikawa. So, man, Seitz is just so good off of that final corner.
Well, here's his shot, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. I mean,
made that look easy into the first corner. Turn 2 is called Williams. Seitz looks good through there. Then they're going to head into the Moss S. Then down to Atwood Curve, a big sweeping, I mean, it's technically a hairpin, I guess, but a long sweeping corner. Here's where Seitz is really going to get a big draft on John Dinkel down the first back straightaway into turn 5, called the hairpin. Dinkel moves to the inside to cover the line. Seitz outbreaks him on corner entry. Easy maneuver there. Approaching halfway, Greg Seitz has come from a pit lane start to run in the 3rd position.
This what easy mode looks like?
Seems like that's about the right way to say it.
To watch the gap now, because now that Gat's clean air, he's going to just completely erode the gap. This is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, the last lap time,
That might be.
it was in, everybody was in the 125s. This time past the stripe, 124.58, a full second faster than Hog Jerome is Greg Seitz. He's been impressive, but let's not negate what Hog Jerome has done here. Converted a front row starting position into an almost 7-second lead over Mike Holler. If Seitz is able to make up a second per lap, he's going to get there. But if that gain starts to shrink at all, he may not get there.
Yeah, and honestly, what he's done is impressive, because we know Michael Holler is no slouch. And the fact that Jerome has put that much of a gap on Michael alone, that's a heck of a run, regardless of whatever Greg does.
So pretty rapidly approaching the halfway point here in race number 2. Give you a quick rundown here on the point standings. And Medema is your points leader. Oh, big bobble there out of Hog Jerome. What a save there.
Oh, what a save.
Let's slide back here, though, because the battle is already on for the second position. Mike Holler has it. Greg Seitz on the big charge. Just real quickly to recap points here. And Medema is your points leader, sitting on 259 points. Fabio Berchtold going to be second at 241. Seitz third. Kosti Aho from Finland. Marcin Arnoldus from the Benelux countries. Connor Melia from the UK and Ireland back through 6th position in points. Seitz going to swing out to the outside. Has to run the outside lane through the hairpin. Man, but what a great drive to set that up. I mean, he made that look easy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I don't know what else you say about it. I really don't. It's a very impressive drive.
Is there any superlatives left?
I don't know. It's easy to run out of superlatives when you're talking about a guy like Greg Seitz, but this is pretty impressive.
Bit in the gravel there. All right, hang on, Chris. Let me check my box of superlatives. Oh wait, it's empty. Oh well.
Let's slide back just a little bit here. We do have a battle on the racetrack between John Dinkel and Nagisa Yashikawa. Yashikawa closing in. He'll gain a couple of tenths, lose a couple of tenths at various points on the racetrack here, but still about a 5-second gap between Hog Jerome and Greg Seitz. So we'll stay with this battle. It's a pretty good one here on the racetrack. Yashikawa going to duck to the inside. Does he try to go full send? He does.
Wow.
Dinkel's going to have the positioning through Revolver. Down out of Piper and then quickly into Redmond.
I'll be fair. I just thought Nagisa stepped aside just to show himself in the mirrors of John, but no, he actually tried to. Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit of a tank slapper there for Dinkel. If you're watching the gap between Hog Jerome and Greg Seitz, you'll see it's kind of stuck here, right about 6.2 seconds. Seitz' last lap was a half-second quicker than what Hog Jerome was able to do.
Ooh.
And these guys are putting on a show.
Guys, do you want me to pull out the graphic? Oh wait, we don't have the special graphics who predict when Greg will reach Hag, if it ever happens.
Taking a look at the licenses here. A C3.7 Hog Jerome is leading Greg Seitz, who's an A 4.99, 7,000 I rating. It really goes to show you how impressive the performance is here out of Hog Jerome.
Yeah, he's doing really good tonight.
And actually, we're seeing the gap increase in time. Well, at least a little bit anyway. That's the gap that we're seeing here towards the front. But there's your race leader coming around to complete lap number 13. Greg Seitz has cut the gap down to 5.4 seconds.
Chris, I'm sorry to tell you, but Greg just took a second up on Jerome in that last lap.
The battle between Dinkel and Yashikawa has settled down just a little bit. Gives us a chance to preview the upcoming schedule here for the Indy Pro 2000 series. July 1st, next week, we're going to head to Phoenix Raceway. Another oval visit here for the PM18s, first one of 2021 Season 3. Then we go off to the Red Bull Ring, follow it up with visits to Watkins Glen and the Hockenheim Ring before the pack racing fiesta that is Iowa Speedway. A lot of good racing coming up here for the PM18s, and the gap down to 4.6 seconds. Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. I'll pose that one to you first, James. Which race are you looking forward to most out of that upcoming schedule?
I'm looking forward to the ovals because then we finally get another Jason Owen sighting, and we get to watch him lay a hurt on the rest of the PM18 field like he does in TNT.
Yeah, Jason, not a regular participant on the twisties, but when the PM18s head to the ovals, he's definitely, if not one of, in among that top 3 or 4 drivers. And Seb, it really changes the dynamic because we're used to seeing guys like Greg Seitz and Dave McDonald, the handful of drivers that we're used to seeing in these top split races. You get a lot of oval interlopers that come to play those nights.
Yeah, I mean it's usually like that. Sometimes you have the roads, some road specialists coming in there for the road. Sometimes you have those oval specialists coming into those ovals. I mean, this is why I really love the PM18s, and especially like those Indy cars. It's just like they're so diverse. Like one day you can be at the Nordschleife, then the next day you can be at Phoenix, and yada yada. Like this is why I really like those PM18s. They're so diverse, and it's why they're so fun in the first place.
Yeah, and the styles of racing are very different as well. Oh man, seeing the leader get a little bit off track. Greg Seitz has his target acquired. The radar lock is on. He can see the challenge ahead of him as we're going to be down to 5 to go next time by. But to kind of go back to that point, the PM18s will do fairly technical oval racing at Phoenix. They'll do Talladega, Daytona-style pack racing at Iowa. The incredible technicality of the Nordschleife, which will be coming up as the final week of this season's calendar. And even the high-speed road courses, slow-speed road courses, the variety is just so incredible in this Indy Pro 2000 championship.
Yeah, it definitely makes it one of the best series in iRacing because of the ridiculously diverse slate of tracks cars go to, and they handle each type of racing like a champ. The only thing it's missing is dirt racing, but that's something TNT may be forced to change. Something we may talk about after the race.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the segues are fantastic out of you, James. TNT PM18 All Oval Series presented by Carolina Simworks coming up this Tuesday night. Taking a look at their schedule here. Just ran the Nashville Fairgrounds. We're going to run Bristol Motor Speedway on the concrete at night this week. Go to Iowa. Then it's the Bristol Dirt All-Star Dirt Showcase the weekend of July 13th. My goodness, that one is going to be a blast. How about we all cut out here for a minute? We'll watch Greg Seitz as we watch the master on the prowl. And one of the interesting things to watch here, guys, as we follow along with Greg Seitz, this place has some pretty decent elevation changes to it. Not quite like Road America, the Nordschleife, or anything like that, but there's a lot of uphill, downhills. This corner even, you can see they're starting to go off camber a little bit. This is a very technical challenge.
Yeah, I've always felt it kind of ironic that it's a free rookie class track because this really isn't the best place for rookies. This track will chew you up and spit you out if you are not careful, especially this section right here. This part made my time in rookies not very fun because you can bin it so easily here.
If I might chime in, I mean, we in rookies we also have Laguna Seca, I think is much worse.
I forgot about the Seika.
And you know what? I did my rookie races on Laguna Seca with the Global Mazdas. Never do that!
The video of the Global MX-5 Cup race from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway a couple of years ago at the runoffs, 68 cars or 72 cars, something like that, were in the starting grid. It was absolutely epic watching the herd of Miatas head towards turn 1 at the IMS road course. But Greg Seitz is still catching in here, working lap number 19. It's going to be 2 to go. He's within 2 seconds, but this one's going to be tight. Oh, trouble for the race leader. Jerome Hogg goes off the course. Get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Tell you what a save.
No, you gotta be kidding me.
By Hogg Jerome. It was a great save, but
man, that's
unfortunately, that's going to put Greg Seitz in the race lead, and good luck from here. And James, we talk about this, it seems like week after week. You can't make the mistake twice. You can't compound the mistakes. And that's got to be so frustrating for Hogg Jerome. You've got to win in sight against one of the best, and you let it slip through your fingers.
Yeah, because, like, the disappointing thing is that he coming to 2 to go now, he might have been able to hold him back. He still had 2 seconds on Greg. He wasn't closing at the high rate of speed I think all of us were expecting. I think had that not happened, he might have been able to hold him off. Like, look now, Greg's still only 1.3 up.
James, with the gap and the rate where Greg was coming back on Jerome, he would have got maybe one opportunity at the end of the lap, of the final lap. So that really sucks for Hag.
Well, we're now looking at a little less than, we'll say about a third of a lap to go here for Greg Seitz until he's going to see the white flag. The gap has stayed pretty consistent at about 1.6 seconds between Seitz and Hogg Jerome. And I will say, absolutely nothing to hold your head down about if you're Hogg Jerome. Keep the car between the painted white lines, and you're going to come home with a very good second place in one of the better strength of field races we have here in the PM18s.
Yeah, but rationally, yeah, of course, but mentally, emotionally, from a competitor standpoint, you could give less of a hoot about it. You had a huge right. Yeah, I've been in that position quite often. Yeah, the good points stay in iRating game kind of doesn't matter that much in the moment.
Taking a look here, John Dinkel, Nagisa Ashikawa back within a half second of each other. If the gap closes any further, we'll pick it up here, but Greg Seitz so far is doing what he needs to do.
Well, I'm keeping tabs on those two for a while now, so I doubt Nagisa will overtake John unless he does a worldie around the outside move.
Well, let's pick the battle up because you call it, and it's going to happen here. The fight between Dinkel and Yashikawa is going to be a good one. Off the final corner, checkered flag goes in the air. Greg Seitz picks up the win here at Okayama. Here's that fight for the fourth position. Oh, Dinkel having a little bit of a connection problem off the final corner. This battle for fourth will see the checkered flag, and it's going to go to John Dinkel. Good run there for the number 6, but Greg Seitz was an absolute rock star this evening. Big shout out to Hog Jerome as well. And there's Mike Holler with a very nice third place finish this evening as well. So a couple of names we're used to seeing up towards the front of this field, and one runner-up who I don't even know that he knows to come talk to us for the post-race interviews. So as we wait for our podium finishers to get into server here, we'll give you the rundown on your top finishing drivers this evening. At least as soon as the race results are available to us, we will. There we go. Tonight's Indy Pro 2000 Series official results. Greg Seitz gets the win by 2.4 seconds over Hog Jerome. Mike Holler, John Dinkel, Nagisa Ashikawa, your top five. Daniel Plamondon, Scott Bradshaw, John Kern, and Cameron Wellborn. Also Jason Padu back through the 10th position. Simon Fell, Tristan Walker, Jason Miller, and Francesco Zargani all having various types of issues over the course of the race. Fell finishing as the final car on the lead lap. So I'll tell you what, gentlemen, waiting.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
I think Greg must save that replay and just post it on YouTube. Just last to first challenge.
Yeah, that was an absolutely epic drive by Greg Seitz. Coming through the field, and I don't know that he needed the help from Hog Jerome making that mistake with a couple of laps to go, but it certainly made things easier in the battle for the win. Have our third place finisher as well as our race winner here ready to talk to us. So let's start things off here with Mr. Mike Holler, our third place finisher here this evening. The Praxis Motorsport number 3 looked pretty darn good out there tonight, Mike.
Oh man, it was there was no grip anywhere for me. I don't know if it was the set or if it is the Okayama is always really hot, but I was struggling there. This is one of my weaker ones, and I'm just glad to have gotten a podium out of it, to be honest.
It kind of interesting that we didn't see some of the names that we're kind of accustomed to seeing here in this strength of field broadcast. But what were you thinking when Greg came over the radio and said he was going to start from the pit lane? Did it feel like a big opportunity at the front?
I saw the radio was closing, and yeah, no, it didn't really feel like a big opportunity for me. He normally finishes rather far ahead of me anyway, so I knew I was probably not fighting for that race. I thought for the first few laps I might have a chance at second, but Hog, he just had the consistency that I did not.
Yeah, Hog is one of the names that we're not accustomed to seeing here. I don't know how much you've run with them, but made a fantastic drive tonight and really did well converting that front row spot into a podium.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've seen him in one of the races that I did, and yeah, his pace was pretty good. I think in that particular race that I'm remembering him, and I edged him out. But yeah, he does feel pretty competitive around my range. So looking forward to seeing more of him. Hope he stays on. I'd love to fight him at Red Bull Ring next week and see where we end up.
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to head to a different style of road course here next week. And what are you looking forward to most about that? We've only seen the track once. It's a fairly new track to the iRacing platform.
I'm looking forward to there being grip and slightly cooler temps. I really enjoy Red Bull Ring. It really it just begs to be driven hard, and I like that a lot about it. It's also going to be interesting with these cars. It'd be interesting to see how strong the draft is too. Obviously, some long straights there, and there's a cool opportunity for some crossbacks on towards the middle half of the track. Looking forward to seeing what that's like. There's some great turns there.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on the podium this week. Who do you want to thank?
Oh man, thanks everyone who came out here for giving a good fight. For some reason our numbers have been a little bit lower this season, but the fighting's still been good, and we had some. It looked like from the relative we had fighting all throughout the season. So thanks to everyone for keeping it up, and I hope next week's going to be really strong with the new track and seeing some familiar faces.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's pick up our race winner here, Greg Seitz, and the first question we have to ask is, what inspired the pit lane start, and were there any concerns about slicing your way through the field here?
I don't know. I just wanted a little more challenge. I saw that the gap to the second place guy was fairly big. I only managed to get one lap in, and I don't know. It's just a lot more entertaining and more fun to do sometimes.
Well,
and I gave myself an extra handicap accidentally by hitting the voice chat button instead of the pit limiter as I exited the pit.
It was a pretty impressive run here, to say the least. The car was dominant, but you still had some various challenges along the way. Getting around Dinkel and Yashikawa was one of those that comes to mind. What is the big challenge obviously getting past cars is the challenge, but what's the biggest part of that from a mental perspective for you?
Yeah, it's just you're racing with guys you don't necessarily know. There were some kind of unfamiliar names, and so I needed to be fairly careful when I made my passes attempts. But honestly, everybody raced me really clean and really fair there when I was trying to get past them. So I was really happy with the way you guys raced me. But it's always a little risky when you have to make an outside pass. You just don't know if the guy's going to be able to hold his line or not, and everybody did and did a great job.
Well, it was a fantastic drive tonight. We've seen you win on ovals, road courses. What are the chances we're going to get you into the TNT All-Star race and see you pick up a win on the dirt at Bristol?
About zero. Dirt.
Yep, we're going to run the PM18s on dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway for the TNT All-Star race. We're trying to get as many of the strength of field guys into that one as we can, so hopefully we can twist your arm a little bit and get you into it. But congratulations on the podium finish and the big win here tonight. Who do you want to thank?
Just you guys for broadcasting and my the team Rush Racing. Also, just everybody in the race. Like I said, I thought they did a great job, and just a shame that Jerome at the end there, had a little mishap, and I was hoping that we'd kind of have. It was looking like it was going to come down to the last lap or so. And that was a little bit of a letdown that he had that little issue, but that's racing sometimes.
All right, Greg. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And I'll tell you what here, gentlemen, as we go back to the scenic shots of Okayama. Yokohama's a tire. Okayama's a racetrack in Japan. I can't tell you how many times I was worried I was going to screw that up tonight. Yes, it's surrounded by tires. Anyway, Greg Seitz was impressive once again here tonight in doing things that we saw River Hayes do in the Silver Crowns a season ago. Do we run out of superlatives to talk about this guy?
Hang on. Still empty.
Let me grab my thesaurus and see if I can come up with something that way.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sebastian's lost somewhere in a box of synonyms. We had a pretty good race here tonight, and like Mike talked about going to the Red Bull Ring next week, that track could not be more different from this course here at Okayama. We've got a lot to look forward to over the next couple of weeks.
I'm so looking forward to Red Bull Ring. It's one of my favorite tracks that F1 goes to. It's such an amazing track. prepare for some dive-ons, drafting, and probably some very good action.
Yeah, and it's a much more free-flowing circuit too. You're not as tight as you are here, so you have a little more space to work with, and you can kind of strategize a little better. Here, there's not a whole heck of a lot of passing zones for this car, but Red Bull Ring, with how the PM18s run, we should see a lot of great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to some pretty spectacular action next weekend. And before we go, we got to make sure we get all the big sponsor plugs in here. Coverage of the iRacing Indy Pro 2000 Official Series is presented here on the National Racing Network by the High Side Hustle. Check the show out Wednesday night, 8 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. Bert Wojcik, Adam Rubright, talking everything in the world of dirt racing, pavement racing, and everything in between. Make sure you don't miss that one. They're actually off the air next coming week for Pennsylvania 410 Speed Week, but you're going to see plenty of content on the National Racing Network social channels from those guys. Also, the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel. Make sure you check them out online. Find the Facebook page. Got to say a big thank you for the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel for coming on board to helping us present this racing coverage to you. And Driven to Save Lives, honoring Brian Clausen. Brian lost his life after a midget car accident at the Belleville, Kansas High Banks, and he had made the decision to become an organ donor. He saved 6 lives and healed countless others. Be like Brian, be a hero. Visit driven2savelives.org. Also, Zone Garage, Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey for the best in floor coverings. Make sure you check them out. Search on Facebook for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Finally, Hot Shoe Racewear for the best in workwear, streetwear, and racewear. Hot Shoe Racewear is going to have you covered. Check them out online, hotshoeracewear.com. Embroidery, screen printing, sublimation, they do it all. Even promotional products, stickers, decals, custom race flag sets, you name it. Hot Shoe Racewear will have you looking spectacular. Find them online, hotshoeracewear.com. Make sure you let them know that NRN sent you. But with that, we're going to wrap up our coverage here from the Okayama International Circuit. We will be back tomorrow night. Should have live race coverage for you. We're not going to spill the beans yet on where we're going to be and what's going on, but keep your eye on the NRN Facebook and YouTube channels for a pretty special event coming up here tomorrow night. We're back with iRacing content on Sunday, the High Slide Cup Series Monday night, back with the Silver Crown Official Series as well. But for James Watson, Sebastian Kinder, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you with us this evening. We will talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody.